The British Seniors Open took place at Royal Lytham. We were rather occupied with Olympics coverage, but we can tell the story of what happened now. We're into the last 2 days with Alex Hay and Peter Ellis.
Well, it's a rather grey, overcast, breezy day at Royal Lytham St Anne's, and this will test the strongest of hearts today. The leaderboard, well, Michael Noon, the local dentist, is still doing very well indeed. He's 6 under par, now just a shot ahead of Bob Charles, but 4 shots ahead of Neil Coles. Here he is. He's played a poorish tee shot at the 12th, the wind whipping across this long, short hole of 180 yards or so. He missed the green on the right. Now he's got a tricky little pitch up. Little stabby pitch that looked a little bit edgy and a bit nervy, but he's got it up onto the green. Green's becoming quicker, slicker as the breeze drives them out.
Yes, of course, Michael Noon playing today with Bob Charles and Neil Coles. Now, Neil, a golden opportunity of a birdie here, and beautifully struck.
Yes, playing nicely. He's the danger man. Now Noon got off to a very shaky tee shot at the first hole. He's kept things going remarkably well. He's a 3 handicapper, so really is in exalted company here. But this for a par at the 12th. No. So a shot dropped, and now he starts the battle for home. The last sort of 4 or 5 holes at Lytham, I think, are as good a test as any of our championship courses when the wind's blowing. But still the co-leader, quite remarkable.
Yes, just 1 hole ahead at the 13th, the great Arnold Palmer. Palmer, level par after 12 holes. And a beautifully judged pitch shot in here. 13th, 339 yards, and you can see how the wind is getting up.
Now, this is one of the interesting amateurs here. Joel Hirsch, a regular competitor on the European Tour, played in our amateur championship on a number of occasions. He's got this for a birdie. He's 2 over par. This is the 14th. And does very well to hold it. He's chasing Michael Noon, who almost appears to be out of reach, but you never know at this funny old game.
Just look what's happened to Neil Coles at the 13th hole. Having just got the score to 5 under par, he's pushed his tee shot down the right-hand side. You couldn't wish for a worse place to put it. I'm not really sure how he's going to take up his stance there. He's so close up against the face, and the ball has gone in there in what we call a poached egg. It's plugged itself, half buried, and it really will be a case of whether he plays out sideways or even backwards. Peter, this really is a tricky situation.
Yes, the bunker looks, one hesitates to say, rather unkempt, but he's almost under the overhanging lip of the bunker. He'll do very well to get this out, and of course if he doesn't get it out, it might come back in his own footprints. Oh, the old boy grunted a bit. Oh, found the only green patch.
Yes, a good job he stuck there. He could easily have so easily run back in. Now his partner, Michael Noon, also now 5 under. Shot of 120 yards. And his wrist just collapsing there. I think that it may have been pulled just a touch. A bunker waiting. No, he is fortunate as well. Clings to the edge of the green.
Now Cole's 3rd shot. He's joint leader. A beautiful striker of the ball. A player of shots, Coles. Takes plenty of club and then plays a variety of little push shots. Well, it's drifting a little bit, and it didn't have enough steam, and that could well have fallen back into another bunker.
445 yard 14th, Arnold Palmer faces the shot with the wind coming off his left shoulder. He's now 1 under, and this is his 2nd shot, which will require a little bit of skill. You see, he's got quite a lofted club. Yes, and a bit of advice from the caddy to swing slow. Palmer with what looks like an 8 iron. Well, he didn't swing quite as slow as he was advised. A good shot. but you can see the wind slightly behind, coming from the left and blowing the ball all the way to the very back of the green. Indeed, it doesn't even hold on there.
Now to Bob Charles, who, well, many think is going to win this championship. Oh, and not if he's going to nip him like that. He looked very disenchanted with that, but the result very good. He has another practice swing. Charles, one of the inveterate club swingers, and Cole's one of the best of chippers. Didn't go in the bunker, as you could see, perched on the edge. The old trusty blaster, can't hardly call it a sand iron. Chips it up fairly close.
Michael Noon then, a putt here for a 3, 13th hole. And all credit to this amateur golfer, a wonderful 66 in the second round. And playing amongst, well, they may not be called the greats of today, but certainly the greats of yesteryear. Steady putt, a par 4, keeps him well in the hunt.
Very much so. His son's caddying for today. Excitement for him, and now is Arnold going to give us a bit of excitement. He's through the back of the 14th. Arnold Palmer, not renowned as a great pitcher of the ball or indeed bunker player, but over the years a wonderful chipper. Don't let me down, Arnold. Well, he got the wrong side of the hump. And not one of his best, but one of his greatest skills, being able to chip the ball close.
Yes, and here's a man who lacks no skill with the putter, Bob Charles. But this time, putting for a par at the 13th. He was 5 under, and missing that, I'm sure he'll just go ahead and tap it in to take him to 4 under par.
Yes, he drove into the bunker. That's one of the things here at Royal Lytham. I think the fairway bunkering here is quite magnificent, but if you get in them, it's almost certain to cost you a shot.
Well, it certainly looks that way for Neil Coles. Neil, who paid the price of bunkering down the right-hand side and was fortunate to recover. Now he has this putt, to drop a shot, having just climbed his way to a lovely position at 5 under. The old side whiskers there, just a touch grayer.
It's not a tap in, is it? But they don't count these if it goes in. You know, they just say, oh, well. Has he got it? Yeah, but that's just automatic. You see, 7 or 8 footers hardly count. He still drops the shot and just plods on his regal way. And on they go to the 14th, and there it is. Little helicopter ride down the 14th, which well, it's got a mound and some thickish gruff on the right, mounds again down the left-hand side, and you can see how parched the fairways are. The wind's coming from the left and helping, and so it's not so easy to get the ball to hold on the green. You've got to pitch it short, some 30 or 40 yards with the right trajectory, and hope for the best, really. There's still quite a bit of good fortune in the world of golf.
Yes, and an opportunity to watch Neil Coles with his driver. Still a good rhythm. Neil has maintained that over the years. His swing was built on balance and tempo, and this tee shot just a shade off. The grass quite wispy there. He may get away with that one. If you're going to be wrong, it's better to be down the left-hand side, as a nasty bunker awaits the right side.
Up ahead, Bob Charles. Long putt over the ridge that Arnold Palmer didn't quite negotiate, and, well, you see, that one didn't come in. Bob's looking a little bit out of sorts.
Now Neil Coles, 4 under, putting for a par, and this time the 8-footer is not a formality. A shot is dropped by Coles.
Yeah, that was a bit untidy for him there, wasn't it? But it's a day when mistakes are going to creep in. Quite cool. You can see Neil's got his over trousers on. It's breezy. The ground's very hard. Now Charles, who for so many years had and indeed was perhaps the greatest striker of putts I've ever seen. There have been a number in my lifetime. Bobby Locke, the mighty South African, was a beautiful striker of putts. You could almost hear the putter ring when he struck the ball, and this man had that reputation for many years. He's still pretty good, but is not it still looks a beautiful putter. He's over 6 foot tall, but he looks so compact and simple and easy. But now I think the old nerves, are, having holed 20 million of these, are getting a little bit frayed. Yeah, just the body moved a fraction early. He still doesn't do that too often, but that's a shot dropped by Charles. A chance for Michael Noon. Remarkable, this man, three handicapper. It's changed his putting style. His son plays golf very well. Told him to stand up. See, he's leaning his left shoulder down towards the hole. Very upright, quite ugly looking style, and quite an ugly result. I think we may have to go back to the drawing board. Comes up here every day, Alex, and practices at lunchtime, and a very good club player indeed. And he still leads the way. He's 4 under par, being chased by Bob Charles and Neil Coles at 3 under. Peter Butler tiptoeing in there at 1 under, and then Palmer, Horton, and John Faree from South Africa also at level.
To the 16th green, Arnold Palmer now level par. He has this for a birdie. 356 yards, a par 4, and so close. Obviously, would love to be under par at the finish. Now, Neil Coles. Coles also at the 16th, but this is his second shot. The trusty, rusty old sand iron. He's playing this downwind, trying to stop it before it runs to the back of the green. Now the co-leader at 3 under par with Michael Noon. What a beautiful shot. What wonderful control he still has.
Yeah, judged to perfection, that one. Now here's another man who's going about his business in a very professional way. Peter Butler. Very respected professional from the RAC club, and he can still trundle them up, I don't mind telling you. Beautiful shot from Butler, 1 under par, and in with a shout as the rain starts to hit our camera lens and the temperature drops.
The 17th, this awkward, oh my goodness, I was going to say dog-legging to the left, a tricky hole, but it doesn't dog-leg quite as quickly as that. 413 yards, it's always a problem, but Neil has rather spoiled his card here, I think. Deep in the shrubbery.
That might be lost in there. Now, Peter Butler, after that lovely second shot, a chance for a birdie. Trusty old putter. This has been in the bag for a lot of years. And yeah. Oh. No, the wind won't blow it in. Oh, Peter Butler still in the hunt. Ah, now Coles found his ball unplayable. He's gone back. Has a drop. That's cost him 1. The rain starting to hit the brollies. And he's still an awful long way from the green. I think he's just going to have to punch out, and he could be dropping 2 or 3 shots here if things go wrong. He's got to be very careful. That's the target he's going to. He's away on the right behind the bushes. He goes over that sandy waste. Well, it used to be a sandy waste some 60-odd years ago, and Bobby Jones played his miracle shot from there at the 71st hole of this Open Championship many moons ago. Now, Coles has got to be careful of the bunkers up ahead. Change of thought. Those big bunkers, if he catches the wrong one, he would struggle to get on the green for 4. Remember, he's had a penalty. This is his 3rd shot, and it's pretty miserable. Look to be just placing it up into the gloom and the rain. And he's placed it pretty well. He pushed it over the ringer, the line of bunkers.
Well, we recorded this. This was on the 17th green. Arnold Palmer at level. He has this for a 3. Wonderful tee shot. Glorious iron. Can he finish it? Almost. Tip Anderson, his caddy, urging it closer.
Now, Joel Hirsch, the amateur, he's level now. This is his 3rd shot at the 18th. It's for a birdie. He's played a beautiful second in here. Just drifted off a little bit. I thought he was going to stop a bit closer. Oh, still work to do.
Michael Noon, his second shot at the 17th, a long second shot.
He's getting a bit blown away now, Alex, I think, but he really has put up a tremendously stout performance, Michael Noon. All credit to him. Now back to the 18th and Joel Hirsch. This for a par. And of course, should Michael Noon stumble, and he's finding it hard work over the last few holes, Hirsch would be in there with a shout. Yes, well done. Level, that's very good playing. Be interested to see how he gets on in the Amateur Championship. Now, Butler at the 18th.
Yes, Peter, from the RAC club, facing this shot. The rain gets ever heavier, and it's just a gentle 8-iron shot for Peter. And he's played it quite beautifully. Good second shot that. Sets him up for a chance of a birdie. And there's his details, 60 years of age. Would you believe it? He looks much younger than that.
He'll be very cross that secret's out of the bag. Now Arnold at the 18th. Rain suit on. Beautiful drive, longest today. Oh, that's a wicked second. You can't blame it on dear old Tip Anderson. He only had a wedge or a little punch with a 9, and that really was all belly button and no club head. And the great man pushes it into the bunker on the right. But he's struck the ball quite wonderfully today from the tee.
To the 17th green, Michael Noon. We saw his pushed second shot. His third wasn't a very good one from the edge of the rough, and that was for a par 4. So Michael Noon beginning to drop shots now, back to 1 under only.
Yeah, 5 shots gone in a handful of holes from Michael, and all this will be playing on his nerves. See, he equalled the amateur record yesterday with a 66, albeit from tees that were a little bit forward, but still a very good round.
Yes, and Neil Cole's paying the price here at the 17th, having the penalty shot drop.
Good pitch up though, Alex. He's got this for a 5. It'll be some 5 if he gets this in, because he was at least 70 yards short of the green in 3. He's creaked and groaned a bit over the last 2 or 3 holes, but the putter saved him there. Could easily have dropped a couple of strokes.
Up ahead at the 18th green, Peter Butler. He's level par. He's had a very nice second shot. It's one that I've always admired. He always used a very long shafted putter so that he could stand very upright there. You see, not a lot has changed. A few wiggles of the wrists. Stayed with the same trusty weapon for many years. Just a wee break here from the left. This to take him into the final round at 1 under, and it broke a little more than I think he expected, certainly more than I thought it would. He has that tap in to stay level par. The par, of course, at Royal Lytham and St Anne's is 71. 35 out and 36 home. A very nicely balanced golf course. And there it is. Peter gets a 4 at the last and is level par. And there's the figures, 70, 71, 72, progressing up.
Now, Arnold came out of the bunker to here. Now he's got this for a par. Not a very good bunker shot, in all honesty. And that was a little bit of a twitchy stroke. And a 5 at the 18th after a magnificent drive will not please him.
Well, everything bunching up here. Bob Charles just one shot now off the lead. This is second shot to the 18th. And that's where he won the championship, the Open Championship, many, many years ago on this very course in a glorious iron shot.
Neil Coles. This is his third, drove it in the bunker. Could only get it out to here, so the last few holes are killing Coles. And that looked as if it was going to work its way closer to the pin. So shots being dropped here with great regularity. Arnold just gets it in. He's 1 over for the championship, and that's not bad, but he won't be pleased. 70, 72, 72. He's wasted a handful of shots over the last few.
Michael Noon just off the green, the final green. Prefers to putt it up. He knows the course like the back of his hand, and that was a very good decision. Still 1 under par in the championship. Very creditable performance for the amateur golfer, the local dentist. He'll just mark out of the way. Good crowds, Peter?
Yes, very good. It's always got a nice feel about it, this course. Now Coles for a par at the 18th. There's a swing across. It comes a little bit and then it straightens out. Coles couldn't quite read it correctly, drops yet another stroke. So these last 2 or 3 holes have been very expensive for Neil Coles. But he's still in with a chance with 1 round left to play. The great old clubhouse, ivy clad, delightful. Now, after that lovely second, this will cheer up Bob if he could pop this in. Oh dear. You see, he was almost on the move before he hit that. That's very un-Charles-like. But 72, that's 1 over par, but I still work in old money. Level 4's for me, 72 is good enough, as Michael Noon. There you see this most extraordinary upright style. Tapping this in, hopefully, and he nudges it, no. Lost confidence, got a little bit nervy and edgy, but he's still, although I don't think he's going to be the champion, he's still very much in for the amateur salver. 76 today. And there we look down at the close of play, and all to play for tomorrow. Bob Charles and Coles at 1 under, Horton, Butler, Furey. John Furey made a good move today, and so, well, much can happen. Sunday's play. And Simon Hobday, second shot at the 13th. He's making a move. One of the great strikers of the ball, Simon Hobday, now spends much of his time on the US tour, and another man equally who does play in America. Recognise him?
Yes, we recognise the great Gary Player, another who won the Open Championship here at Royal Lytham in St Anne's, and some of the skill he displays now. An approach putt from halfway down the fairway, it would have appeared.
Hobday for a birdie. He's 4 over par, but if he could hold a few putts like... No, I thought he would, but see how it curled in after the ball had gone past the hole. Now John Furey, who really has made a tremendous move at them today. He's 3 under par. The current leader, he's on the 12th, 175 yards it's playing today. The wind's still breezy, quite strong in fact, sweeping in from the left. Furey in the penultimate match, playing with Peter Butler and the amateur Joel Hirsch from the United States, and that's on line but doesn't climb the hill. There's a bunker cut in there, and it all depends whether he's above ground or not, but he's going along very well. Palmer also holding on well at 1 over.
Yes, Palmer at the 13th, a 339 yarder, and he's hit a lovely tee shot down the heart of the fairway, and no more than a gentle wedge now for his second. 1 over par. Well, he loved punching into seaside links turf all his life, and he didn't fail us there. Wonderful backspin he generated on that shot.
You get some idea how strongly the breeze is blowing. Look at the trees, the bushes behind there, as we go to John Ferree, who's not in the bunker, taking his putter just on the edge of the green, up the hill, over the top, and I say, putts like that soon smarten up your scorecard. Well, John, who played here through the 70s from South Africa and always had a reputation, if not for being a great hitter of the ball, the most wonderful touch around the greens, and now he finds himself suddenly in the lead by 3 strokes with everyone else falling by the wayside, including this man, Palmer.
Yes, well, Palmer had that lovely iron shot we just witnessed, and now a putt to bring his total back to level par. This is the 13th green, just a break from the right. Green's a good speed. Now he's allowed 8 or 9 inches of borrow, and he's got it. A wonderful putt from Palmer. Yeah, he's quietly quite delighted about that one. If he can finish under par at this event, he'll be quite proud of himself.
Now, quite an international field here. Akio Toyoda from Japan, who's done very well on the Australian Seniors Tour and throughout Asia. Here he is at the 14th, his second shot, and a beauty. Now look at the wind just sweeping that up to the hole. Will it go in? Well, that's just underclubbed the whisker.
John Ferree pushed his tee shot rather wildly at the 13th. However, he's in range if he's got a decent lie. This is second shot, crosswind. Picked it up, gave it a bit of a chop down into the ground. Can it reach the green? Nearly, but he's good from that distance. We've seen that.
Now Peter Butler, he's level. Third shot. He's got this for a birdie at the 13th. Nice smooth strike, but no, just wiggled its way around. Level for the championship. Now John Ferree, little chip, 13th.
Well, the wind affecting the balls, even with chips and with putts. Now, as we watch Player at the 14th green, he's 4 over par. Well, the old familiar stab, I'm afraid, missed that time. Let's go to John Ferree at the 13th. Can he do it?
And he misses one. Now, he hasn't been in this exalted company for a number of years, John, although he's played consistently well in South Africa, but he's moved up a division, you might say. And now it's all, the winning of this championship is in his hands. And over these next few holes, we're going to see what he can do. He leads by 3 at the moment from Arnold Palmer, Bob Charles and Peter Butler. Neil Cole's at 1 over, and then the rest of the field really are, well, Simon Hobday at 4 over and Tommy Holton at 4 over must be considered out of it. So let's see if Ferree can hold it together. Here he is down the 14th.
Yes, the 14th, one of the toughest holes. He looks as though he's let that go a wee bit to the right again. He went to the right at the last hole. Indeed he has. He's gone beyond the mounds, in amongst the spectators.
Might have been lucky there, Alex. He may have just found a sort of thin, wispy area there on the right-hand side. Now, Tommy Horton, who played so well in this championship last year and had it going the first couple of rounds, let it slip a bit. Thought he might have done very well yesterday and today when the wind blew, but it's been a bit of a struggle. Tommy's now 4 over. That was, though, for a birdie. Goes to 3 over.
Yes, and we go to Arnold Palmer at the 14th. Palmer, who's just 3 off the lead now at level par. He has this putt for a par, unfortunately. The 14th does take its toll. It's a pretty hard hole, 445 yards with the wind. Can Arnold escape? He's had a good putt just a few moments ago. There's quite a big allowance there for both slope and wind. The wind coming in off the right-hand side. It was a good putt, but it looks like a shot gone.
Now John Furey. This is his 3rd shot. The lie wasn't as good as we thought. He wasn't lucky in the rough, so this at the 14th is a bit of a struggle for him. That should work its way down. Come on. Well, a chance. Still a chance for a par.
Now Palmer, who is about to drop a shot at the 14th hole, but he's not far off the lead. A lot to play for.
You feel, though, Alex, that Arnold would have to get a couple of birdies in the last 4 holes if he was really going to challenge. Now Peter Butler, just off the fairways, you can see at the 14th. Backswing's got a bit shorter over the years, but the follow-through is still nice, and I won't be surprised to see that pitch short and sweep it. No, bounce to the right, caught the bunker.
The 15th tee, Palmer. And some of the old characteristics there, but I'm afraid just biting it into the rough on the left of the 15th.
Place to miss it.
Peter Butler now, his 2nd shot, just kicked away to the right, trying to chase it up onto the green. You see, up the face of the bunker. Put a lot of new sand in these bunkers. They're quite soft, a lot of balls plugging. That one's almost half plugged. Familiar dainty little flip out. He's flipped it a bit too boldly. Oh no, no, no. No. He can do much better than that.
Yes, and John Furey wondering what he's getting up to now. He had such a commanding lead. This is almost a mishit putt at the 13th. So he's dropping back. He's now only 2 under par.
Yes, I remember Neil Cole saying years ago when he'd gone for a season or 2 without winning, and he said you forget how to win, you become a little bit afraid, and that's probably going through Furey's mind now as we look at Peter Butler coming down. Has he potted one? No. Well, he frightened it. Very steady performer, Butler. But that's a shot dropped. Goes to 1 over.
Well, we saw Arnold Palmer pull his tee shot. His 2nd shot was even worse.
Well, behind this television tower, and we had all sorts of rulings went on here where he could drop, and there really was nowhere for him to go. Or at least he could go, but he'd have a worse shot. So Arnold sort of tried to conjure up a sort of low hook through the scaffolding between the cameraman's legs, wiped the dewdrop off the end of his nose, and he's managed to find trouble by the green.
Yes, and back on the tee, John Furey prepares to hit his tee shot. Now, can he steady his nerves? You saw how he's played the hole, a couple of bogeys, a par. It's not an easy hole, 15. Good swing, lovely style, very elegant finish. Now, has he gone up the same line as Palmer? Almost identical, perhaps even wider.
Big hole now into the breeze. Palmer now, his 4th shot in a nasty spot in the bunker. He actually holed out of this bunker. I played him in the Ryder Cup about 117 years ago, and he holed that. He didn't leave it in the bunker like that. Now his 5th shot. Well, these last few holes are costing many players a lot of strokes. Arnold dropped a shot at the last hole. It looks as if he's going to drop another couple here.
Yes, yesterday it was the rain that got at the players. Today it's this sort of swirling wind across the links. Now Charles on the 14th green, he has this For a birdie, he's level par at the moment in second place. Just a couple behind Fourier. The owner of a marvellous putting stroke.
Up to the 15th green, more problems for Palmer. This for a 6. Well, that really is very costly indeed. Gary Player at the 15th. This for a birdie. Overcooked it. No, he hasn't. He's hardly held a putt this week, Gary. Changed his putter, has gone to one of those newfangled machines. And it's not working any better than the old blade bought all those years ago in Tokyo.
Now, John Fourier, who pooled his tee shot at 15, knocked it out to here. He's got quite a long third shot. Good firm 7-iron shot. Oh, well, I don't know what that was, Peter.
Well, he was trying to punch in a sort of pitch and run with a 7-iron, but I don't know what happened there, whether he touched the ground a fraction early, maybe 4 inches before the ball, or got it towards the Lucy Lockett, the J. Arthur, or just a plain case of the nerves.
Peter Butler, his second shot at the 15th. Oh, in those bunkers, the revetted faced bunkers of the Seaside Links, and that's left an awkward shot.
4th shot now at the 15th. John Fourier, after that dreadful pitch and run, he's played a nice one there, but well, tricky little putt left. That was recorded. Now Peter Butler, he's just 1 over. Can he put the pressure on Fourier? Oh yes, it just tiptoed in, but that was for a drop stroke, so he goes to 2 over, 3 off the lead.
Now back down the 15th fairway, Neil Coles, second shot. Oh dear. Well, that sort of lets you know what he thought of the shot. The pressure's on them all, I think. They can all see victory. They can see the leader coming back towards them, Peter.
Yep, and he up ahead there is John Fourier now. What a putt for him. This to drop only 1 shot. Yes, he got it. Well done. 3 holes left.
Now, Charles, his second shot to 15. You can see the length this hole is playing. 468 yards, just a bit short of being a par 5. A very good shot from Bob Charles.
Just 1 off the pace now, Bob Charles. There's a high look from our camera by the old railway line by the second tee, looking down the 16th, which is a blind tee shot. They go over the sandhills, bunkers on the right and left. It's a little kinky dog leg left to right. Only 350 odd yards. Must get it on the fairway. A lot of players have hit 2 irons and 4 woods here. They say good shot, and a good shot it most certainly is. Just out of the semi.
You just realised that.
The wind behind, though, with the green just angled, it's not easy to get close.
Just in time to catch Bob Charles, his third shot, to within 6 feet of the 15th.
Well, John Fourier, check on the leaderboard, is just ahead by 1. Bob Charles chasing him. Charles with a shortish putt on the 15th to stay at level par. Really the rest of the challenge is now just Coles and Butler. But Fourier, can he get this one close? Downwind. It's a float up in the air, try and strike it well. Oh, he got some backswing. Oh, what a cracking shot. He must have struck that absolutely perfectly, just landed on a receptive bit of green. Chance for a 3.
Well, the leader looks like he might be pulling himself together. We go to the 15th, Coles at 1 over. This putt for a par. A wicked second into the rough he had. Oh, he's not giving up. Coles does not give up easily.
Bob Charles. This for a 4 and a par at the 15th. Yeah, that's better. So Charles just stays one behind. Meanwhile, up ahead, John Ferry has this, well, 10-footer. That sort of distance for a birdie to go 2 under. Got it. Oh, that's eased the pain a bit. But there's still problems on the 17th and 18th to be faced.
Now our final hole for Gary Player. Here's second shot at the 18th. He's now 6 over. A pretty full iron shot there for Gary, just to the right of the flag here. Pin high to the inch.
The 17th tee shot, John Ferry. Two under par, the leader, and now has he found trouble? So dangerous, these fairway bunkers at Lytham.
Now the good gallery here on the final day would be absolutely delighted if Gary Player should hold us for a 3. He's had so much success on this lovely links course. He's 6 over. Well, the old maestro hasn't lost his touch, and a lovely birdie to finish. There's his figures, spoiled a little bit by the 76.
Now John Ferry's second shot at the 17th found trouble. He's got to be very careful, but he got it out well, but he's played 3. Is this going to be another shot dropped?
The greens have been in very good condition in the entire week, and here on the final day probably at their best, but affected largely by the wind sweeping across them. Now Peter Butler, he's 2 over par. He's wondering what his playing partner can get up to. This is his 3rd shot. Well, it was an opportunity he hasn't taken, I'm afraid.
Well, he was telling me yesterday that he's watched this man hold putt after putt after putt over the last couple of days or so. But there's been no putt perhaps more important than this one facing John Ferry. He's played 3 shots. He's on the 71st green. He's a couple of strokes ahead. Now, if he were able to get this in, what a lovely cushion to have going down the last hole. Has he hit it? Yes, he has. Oh, wonderful putt from John Ferry.
Back down the 17th fairway, Bob Charles, his second shot. He realistically is probably the only man who can catch Ferry. And that, a marvellous iron shot into that crosswind.
Good tee shot at the 18th for John Ferry now. The leader by 2. All he has to do is hit one straight medium iron. Well, plenty of divot. And finds the front of the green.
So Charles just 2 shots behind Ferry. He has this putt for a 3 at 17. Has he given it the run? He certainly has. Oh, dead on line.
Great effort though, Alex, wasn't it?
Yes, a
Great
wonderful
effort.
bid, knowing exactly what he had to do. Stays level par, 1 to play.
The 18th green, John Ferry. Well, 2 putts would be very sweet from here. Michael Noon, the leader after the first couple of rounds, gradually slipped away a bit. He enjoyed playing with Arnold Palmer and Arthur Proctor from the US, but was a bit too much for him today. And the stage has been taken by this man, John Ferree. That's his third shot at the 18th, and he's not quite given it enough. Still a bit to do.
To the 17th green at 1 over par. Neil Cole's in third place at the moment. Just Charles and Fury ahead of him. Two very good shots to the back of the green. He's given it a bit of a run at the hole and left himself 3 feet.
Well, Coles went on to hole that putt, but the excitement was at the 18th to see if Ferree could hole this little putt, and he can. And he finishes at 2 under par, and I think, well, unless Charles manages to hole his tee shot at the last, or his second shot, Ferree is the champion. A great round of 69. He got a little bit shaky towards the end, but that is really very good playing indeed, and a wonderful championship, good crowds, and hopefully just the start of bigger things for this seniors British Open.
Neil Cole's second shot at the 18th. And a delightful iron shot. The wind and the slope just taking it away from the flag. Very good stroke. 6 iron.
Charles once more finds trouble, and you see these bunkers are so punishing. These are really what good bunkering's all about. Instead of making courses 7,000 yards, just put bunkers down the side of the fairway that the great people can only get 20 yards out of. Ferree checking his card as Bob Charles surveys his third shot. To the 18th.
Yes, it looks no more than a 9 iron, Peter. But I think he knows the writing's on the wall. He needed to finish with 2 birdies. He nearly got it at the 17th, but now he struggles for a par at the last.
Well, he's battling to get second place now. He's Peter Butler as 2 over par. Coles and Charles vying for second place. Coles finishes at 1 over par. A good championship for Neil. He's not been competing too regularly over the last season or two, but still strikes the ball quite beautifully. Delight to watch. .73 to 85. Good playing around this course. Now Bob Charles. No, the putter's betrayed him a bit this week. He had that to be second on his own. Not to be. Bob Charles and Neil Coles tied for second place at 1 over par. But the winner from South Africa, John Ferree. And we wish him well. And we wish this championship well. I'm sure it'll go from strength to strength.
Check for £33,330. The trophy returning to South Africa. The champion, John Ferree.
So a 4th South African victory in the British seniors. John Ferree taking the top prize of just over £33,000. A 3-shot victory over Bob Charles and Neil Coles. Here's how the leaderboard finished up, and Peter Butler taking 4th place. He took the prize for the leading player of over 60 years old, but John Ferree took the title of the Seniors British Open champion for 1992.